Okay, level check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer coming from the streaming center at Fox 19 now. This is a level check, getting things ready for the live streaming show, which begins in under 2 minutes. Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer here. Hope you're having a great Christmas or a great Hanukkah. It's one of the few years that both Hanukkah and Christmas at least start on the same time. In the case of Hanukkah, starts on the same day. So happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas to you. I'll be with you in just under a minute. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, we're coming to you in under a minute, everyone. I'm meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer. Okay, nasty looking Christmas day out there, but much better than trying to get to your loved one's home or location and fighting ice and snow. There's little doubt about that. All right. I see we're okay there as we're looking at the Facebook page. Under a minute, I'll be right with you. Got to turn on a couple of other platforms like Roku and Apple TV. All right, we should have everybody ready to go now. And just a few seconds and I'll start the live weather broadcast. Okay, it's 7:15. Hi, everybody. This is meteorologist Steve Horstmeyer in the streaming center at Fox 19 now. I've got a nice half hour or so of weather for you, maybe a little bit less depending on how many questions we get. But overall, this is Christmas Day. It's also the first day of Hanukkah, so Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy Hanukkah to the Jewish people that are watching us, and hope everybody's having a good day, even though it looks kind of ugly. Speaking of that, look at this. This is our Mount Auburn camera, and that interstate there is Interstate 71. The traffic you see going to the left is northbound. If you go straight through the screen, you're going out over toward Norwood, and it's 44 degrees and just nasty out there. There's little doubt that it's not very nice out there. Cool, damp, but at least it's not icy and snowy for your travels. I don't think we see anything in the way of snow until we get into late New Year's Eve and then New Year's morning, and then both the air and ground temperatures will be warmer than freezing. And that means just some wet travel for New Year's Eve into the early morning hours of New Year's Day. In addition to that, we've got some good news for Bengals fans when we get to the Bengals forecast. Looks like the rain's going to hold off and looks like it might top out at 60 degrees on Bengals Saturday it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what else I have in here. Oops, the weather computer just decided to say goodbye. I'm reconnecting to it. There we go. Now it's there. Okay, here is the New Year's Eve forecast. Now we've got a wet rain and snow mix in the forecast right now. That may change. Yesterday it looked like more wet snow than rain. Today it looks like more rain than wet snow. And we'll just have to fine tune that. But right now we're thinking of precipitation for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day morning. Look at the temperatures though. By 11:59 p.m. We're at 39 degrees. So way above what it requires for snowfall, and temperatures will not drop off that much. So a wet start to the new year, even though that those wet conditions may be caused by a mix of rain and some wet snow around the tri-state. Okay, temperatures right now, these are the 7 p.m. temperatures reported to the local airports. Everybody in the 40s. Coolest spots, Richmond, Indiana, and Washington Courthouse. It's 44 in Hamilton, 43 in Harrison, 44 at CBG, Lunken, and Batavia. As cool as 42 in the Maysville area. And we've got more rain on the way. Now, temperatures compared to this time yesterday, so the 24-hour change, as much as 5 degrees warmer in Richmond. Everybody else, 1 colder to 4 warmer around the Tri-States. So that's pretty close to what it was like. Excuse me a second, I got to wet my throat here. And as usual, it is Diet Mountain Dew, the drink of choice for a meteorologist. Okay, there you see the rainfall. Now, there's not much rain going on down in southern Owen County, over into Grant, a little bit more in Pendleton County, but then from Bracken to Robertson to Mason to Lewis, not much going on. I guess I could throw Highland, Brown, and Adams into that too, but it's going to change because there's a lot of rain in the forecast. Now, we don't have any rain that's heavy enough for flooding. We don't have any thunderstorms in this, but if we zoom out here on the satellite radar loop, you can see that rain goes all the way down to actually, it's just now moving out of southeast Missouri, but there's more. I don't know if you can see that at home, but right down here in the lower corner of your screen, there's more rain there. As a matter of fact, let's just make this easy for you, and I'll drag that map northward, and you can see that here's the Boot Heel of Missouri, where Cape Girardeau is. Here is the rain, and this is all moving to the north. There are a few thunderstorms down here in Arkansas. They're not severe, but it's going to be a while. We're going to see rain for quite some time into tomorrow morning, and that rainfall, of course, occasionally could be on the moderate side. I don't think enough for flooding, but enough to slow traffic down if you're driving, but at least it's not ice and snow. So here's what we're thinking. We're thinking it becomes widespread. So about midnight, there's still not much falling from Maysville to Vanceburg to West Union, but the rain can be occasionally briefly heavy from Connorsville and Liberty into Butler County, into Franklin County, all the way down into northern Hamilton County, parts of Claremont and Warren. And that's overnight. That's midnight. As we head to 4 a.m., we still have rain in most of the viewing area. Still not much off to the southeast, and it's beginning to dry out from Connorsville down to Versailles. By the time we get to 7 a.m., scattered showers mainly from the Hillsborough area to Georgetown to Carrollton and south of that. Maybe a sprinkle elsewhere. And then as we head through the day, notice the rainfall. Still a few showers are possible around the area, but most of the rain occurs in the morning, and it's still on the mild side tomorrow. Now here's a model that goes out farther in time. So this one is a global model. It's the European, and it says at midnight we've got rain around the area. Notice it ends tomorrow, but then Friday during the day we go back into rain. So if you've got Friday evening plans, get ready for rain. Some of that could be not flooding heavy, but heavy enough to really soak you if you don't have your rain gear. Okay, and that rain tapers off to a few scattered showers early in the day on Saturday. Now here's the good news for Saturday. Yesterday, when we looked at this model, it had rain in here from before the beginning of the Bengals game all the way into the evening. Right now at 11:50 a.m., so just before noon, only a few scattered showers out there. Watch what happens as we head, remember the game starts at 4:30, so as we head into the evening, there's basically no rain until we get to late in the evening, and that stays off to the east. So I'm thinking that probably you may not, even though we were talking about needing your rain gear, you may not need your rain gear. With less rain, it'll probably be warmer. Yesterday we had it topping out about 57. I'm thinking low 60s at Paycor Stadium during the game in the early part of the day. Okay, and then we go into more rain there. You saw that we had some more rain on Sunday. Then we go into more rain for Tuesday. Tuesday is the 31st, so this is 8:30 a.m. New Year's Eve day. And so you can see rain there as we end 2024. As we head on into the evening, you see there's still some scattered light showers around. Nothing really heavy, enough to make the roads wet, but no ice and snow yet. No ice anyway, ever. And then as we head to 4:10 a.m., actually before that, but you can see the pink and the blue. So we've got a little mix of rain and snow, mostly rain and wet snow in the area. The second, we may see a few more flurries in the area. And then as we head on into the third and fourth, we may see a few more flurries in the area. And then we're set up for much colder weather coming our way and the chance for some snow several different times. Okay, now here, this is a model run, and if you see that blue line there, anything north of that blue line is cold enough for snow. Okay, so we're going to put this into motion, and you can see that blue line. We zoom in, and right there, you see that blue line heading south and eastward? That's 10:50 p.m. New Year's Eve, and so by 10:50 p.m. New Year's Eve, we're going into air that's cold enough for there to be snow. Now, one of the things you have to remember when you're forecasting snow, it's not enough to know the temperature at the ground, not enough to know the temperature a mile up. You got to know what the temperature structure of the entire atmosphere is like, because if you have really, really, really cold air at the surface and it's warmer aloft, the snowflakes will melt on the way down and then refreeze into sleet. Okay? Sometimes you can get it falling to the ground as liquid and then freezing on contact with the cold surface. It forms that glaze. Glaze is what we call freezing rain, but the technical definition of it for the entire world meteorological community is glaze. And so in this case, here we have, this is where the structure of the atmosphere is cold enough for there to be a changeover from rain to snow. And so by the time we get to late evening New Year's Eve, it's looking like rain mixed with some wet snow, but with ground temperatures still warm, not a big deal. Now watch what happens to that line as we head past New Year's Eve. I mean, it just stays way south of us. I mean, we stay cold enough all the way into the 7th, 8th, and 9th for there to be snow around the tri-state. So this evening, sunset at 5:21, so it's been down now for 2 hours, 2 minutes. We're looking at temperatures not changing much, down to 43 by 11 p.m., so about the same. Oops, hit the button too fast. Let's go back to that. The overnight low about 41. There will be a few spots in the Fox 19 now viewing area that dip into the upper 30s. Okay, roads for the morning will be wet in most areas. It'll be cloudy and gray with showers in the area. Temperatures range from the upper 30s in a few spots, mostly lower 40s for tomorrow morning, with wind chills in the mid-30s around the tri-state. Okay, here's the new Climate Prediction Center outlook. Notice we go from warmer than normal by the 4th of January. We're talking about near normal. When we get to days 8 to 14, so that goes out through the 8th of January, look, we are in a colder than normal pattern, okay? So that's consistent. Now this came out last Friday, will be updated this Friday, but look at that. That colder than normal pattern expands, including everything from Montana and the Great Lakes down into Florida, and that keeps us through the 22nd of January colder than normal. So that's why I've been talking, when we look at this, I've been talking about us, because we were talking about La Nina. The La Nina pattern just doesn't seem to want to develop this year. And if it continues not to develop, we're going to get a colder than normal pattern. That means the jet stream flowing like this down through the southern U.S., bringing cold, dry air masses our way. So as that sets up, and as we go into the pattern with the jet stream down like this, we have the chance for several snow events. Okay, so from the middle of the first week through the end of the second week of January, it could be kind of snowy around the tri-state. Once the pattern sets up and the jet stream dips far enough south, we're pulling that cold, dry air in out of Canada, and what that means is lower than normal precipitation. So we get colder than normal, we get drier than normal, but as this pattern sets up from the 9th to the 22nd, actually before the 9th, we have a good chance of getting several snow events. Now, it could be rain and snow. I mean, we just have to look at the particular parameters when those situations begin to set up. But we're definitely looking at much more winter-like weather, not like what we thought. And everybody was looking at, oh my gosh, the models are kicking out an immense La Nina. Well, that just isn't happening. We may end up going into a La Nina pattern, but right now it's looking like pretty cold and pretty unsettled and maybe pretty snowy as we head through the month of January in the tri-state. Okay, now from the 31st to the 4th, notice it's a little drier than normal there. As we head into the 2nd to the 8th, it goes back to near normal precipitation. Remember, that's as this pattern is setting up. And then once the cold air masses start plunging into the U.S., we end up with drier than normal weather. So this is very consistent with what we looked at before. We had that cold air like this. Well, as those cold air masses drop south and eastward, they don't have a lot of moisture. They're big, high-pressure systems. Dynamically, they're not conducive to rainfall, and so we end up with much drier than normal weather in this part of the country. So cold and dry, but before we get to the cold and dry part, we'll probably be getting colder and getting very active precipitation-wise for a couple weeks in the first half of January. All right, let's go take a look at the 7-day forecast. 7-day forecast looks like this. Overnight down to 41, 52 the high temperature tomorrow, with the chance in the morning, but even though we say morning chance, that's for more widespread rain, there's still the chance you'll get a brief light sprinkly shower later in the day. Thursday is the first day of Kwanzaa. 42 and 51 on Friday with showers in the area. For Bengals Saturday, it's hard to say, I keep saying it. Bengals Saturday looks like a high of 61 degrees. So here's what we're talking about as far as those people heading down to Paycor Stadium. 57 for tailgating with the chance of a shower. I think the chance of showers pretty much comes to an end by kickoff with 60 degrees, then dropping back to 55 by halftime. So yesterday we were talking about, hey, it looks like you're probably going to need your rain gear. That's why I said there in the forecast, rain gear may not be needed. Okay, so we're just going to have to keep an eye on this. But right now it's looking warm anyway, so you're not going to freeze at the Bengals game. All right, Sunday. 49 and 56 with scattered showers, mostly cloudy Monday. Showers in the forecast for Tuesday and Wednesday also. Okay, now we go to beyond the 7-day forecast. This starts on the 2nd, goes through the 8th. And so for the 2nd, even though we don't have it there, I think partly cloudy with a chance for a few flurries in that colder air. And look at the high temperatures from the 2nd all the way through the 8th. Got high temperatures in the 30s. And with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 days, I think most of the time through the remainder of the month of January, we're going to have highs in the 30s. Now, if we end up with a storm coming along, and as that storm comes along, it pumps that warm air northward, we warm up, we get colder in behind it, we may have a day or two where it gets considerably warmer than that. But I think for the most part, 30s, not a bad forecast at this point in time, and that's really not that far from normal. So I've got low to mid 30s from the 2nd through the 8th. It looks dry Thursday and Friday, the 2nd and 3rd. The 4th on Saturday, rain, dry on Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with highs in the low 30s, lows in the 20s. Could be rain and snow mix, but probably it's going to be a snowy or wintry, icy conditions around the tri-state. Okay, then the 7-day plus looks like this. High temperatures peak at 61 on Saturday, drop off to below normal. We get below normal starting, it looks like, on the 2nd. The low temperatures drop off to below normal also, but not as far below normal. So we, again, are talking about a more typical January weather coming our way. And the takeaway for this, the cooling actually starts New Year's Eve, okay? And that brings us a chance of a rain-snow mix into the morning of the 1st. Numerous light rain events through the 31st. Christmas and New Year's travel looks very good at this point. And we've got snow events possible the 3rd through the 10th, maybe even longer than that. Now, the reason, one of the things, the first thing you say, oh, we might have snow, the first thing almost every single person asks is how much? Well, if you have a meteorologist that is telling you that I'm forecasting for, let's say today is January 10th, I'm forecasting 5 inches of snow. Well, I'm not, but if somebody tells you that and claims to be a meteorologist, they're full of it because you just can't forecast that far ahead. Well, that one time they may get lucky and be right. It's like the blind squirrel that finds a nut occasionally. But they can't do that all the time. We just don't have that much information yet. When we see the jet stream pattern, when we see the large-scale patterns kind of readjusting, we can say, hey, look, it looks like from the 3rd through the 10th, we've got a good chance of having some snow events. Can't tell you exactly when, can't tell you how much, can't tell you how long it lasts. Well, we can tell you enough like this, the 3rd through the 10th, so that you're prepared. So it's not going to be a surprise, and that's one of the things we try to do all the time at Fox 19 Now. Don't want to blow it out of proportion. Don't want to say, oh my God. For example, I was talking to Ethan Emery earlier today, and I just want to wish him Merry Christmas. And I had said, hey, did you see what the one model run said the other day? It gave us gave not us, but gave Connorsville and Liberty a 3-day total of 25 inches of snow. Well, the model run before that said almost nothing. The model run after that said almost nothing. And so every once in a while, the models lose their minds. Okay, and then you'll see amateurs on social media saying, oh my God, the worst snowstorm in centuries is coming our way. That's just not the case. You have to be very careful. A good meteorologist looks at a lot of models and looks, all those models that the meteorologist looks at also looks at the trend in each one of those models so you can get a better idea of what's going on. And in this case, that model just lost its mind temporarily for run, and then it came back and everything was as we expected. Okay, so if you see anything on social media about, oh my God, there's just no oh my God in this winter forecast yet. So there might be, but right now not. All righty, let's see. We got some comments. Hey, well, thank you for joining me here on Christmas Day. Susan Wally says, Merry Christmas to our favorite weather station. Well, thank you, Susan. She figured I'd be off today. Well, there's another thing. I was telling just a few minutes ago, our anchor and sports person that this is my 48th Christmas day in the business. And I think I've only been off 5 Christmas days in that entire time. And for about 10 years, I was the number 3 person, so I was the low man on the totem pole and got to take Christmas when it was available. After that, I was the number 2 person, and so I was not the top on the, and so I didn't get a lot of Christmases then because everybody's got a chance. And then since '08, I've been here at Fox 19 as the chief meteorologist, but I've kind of got a different attitude than many people on TV. Many people on TV say, well, I'm the chief meteorologist. I get all the holidays off. I just don't feel that way. The way I look at it is I worked in situations like that before, but I think everybody ought to have equal chances to have holiday time off, especially Christmas time, Easter, things like that. And so, unlike many people, I don't think I've inherited this privilege of always being off on holidays. So, thank you, Susan. Michael J. Hauser says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Mike. Melvin Stone Street, Merry Christmas. Is it going to rain all day on New Year's Eve? I think probably from the afternoon on, Melvin. And again, it goes over to wet snow mixed in. But remember, ground and air temperatures both above freezing from New Year's Eve into New Year's morning, the way it looks right now. So I'm thinking just wet situations, kind of like we have outside right now in the tri-state, just a little bit cooler. All right, Molly Purcell, sorry, Molly. Pollock, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. Too bad no snow. Yeah, I know. I'm a snow lover, but when it comes to the bigger good or the greater good, people at least can travel more safely when it's not icy out there. But she says warm weather is nice. And I didn't have to work too hard. I came in about 4 hours later, and I didn't come into just before 5 o'clock p.m., so it was kind of like a half day, so, you know. And I don't mind doing it as long as everybody gets their chance to have some holidays off. How bad is rain in Friday evening, Molly wants to know. Okay, Friday evening looks pretty wet at this point, and the models over the past 5 days have been very consistent. So I would not be surprised to see a half an inch to an inch of rainfall between like 2 p.m. and midnight on Friday. So it looks like it'll be substantial rainfall. Not necessarily torrential and flooding, but enough to really wet things down. And then Susan Wally also says she can deal with the temperatures we just saw in the extended forecast, with highs in the 30s, lows in the 20s. It gets really rough for her animals when you have zeros and teens. So highs in the teens, lows 0 or below. I know I just don't know how you keep your animals warm when that happens. In my house, we've got 8 dogs. And it's like, you've heard of 3-dog night? It's like an 8-dog night, and they all like to curl up on the bed, so we stay really warm. Save a lot of money on heat, too. Okay, Ricky Wallace says, Merry Christmas, and his birthday is tomorrow. Merry Christmas and happy birthday to Ricky Wallace. Hope you enjoy your birthday, and I don't know if you're one of my son's birthdays on December 11th, so he often got, hey, this present's for Christmas and your birthday, and I'm sure, Ricky, you've gotten that quite a bit. But happy birthday to you. Garnet Rothwell says, good evening, Steve. Happy holidays to all at Fox 19 and all of its viewers. Well, thank you very much, Garnet. Okay, and that's the end of the comments now. So let me go back and I forgot if I'm on camera. Yeah, I am on camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here, and we'll go back over the forecast for anybody that may have tuned in a little bit later than the rest. We'll just start with the 7-day forecast. Okay, and again, we are looking at much more wintry weather once we get into the first and second week of January. Okay, let's go to that full screen. So here's your 7-day forecast. We're looking at a low tonight of 41, a high tomorrow of 52, with a chance of a shower, mainly in the morning, but I can't rule out a brief light sprinkly shower later in the day. And it is the first day of Kwanzaa. 42 and 51 on Friday with showers. For Bengals Saturday, that's still hard to say. Look at that high, 61 degrees. Now the normal high for, let's see, the 25th, 6th, for the 28th. Let me look up quickly while everybody's listening here. Find that the normal high on the 28th of January, excuse me, I'm a little slow here getting to that. Okay, I think it's either 41 or 40, but the normal high, and I want to get it down exactly here, on the 28th of January, according to the National Weather Service, is 40. Okay, so that 61 is 21 degrees warmer than normal on Bengals Saturday. Here's a little bit more information for those of you heading down to the game. We are talking about 57 for tailgating, 60 degrees at kickoff, 55 at halftime. So it looks like a really, really nice, and it might even be warmer than that at halftime, but it's looking pretty nice out there. And again, just the chance of a shower in the morning for tailgaters, or I don't know, whenever you start tailgating. I'm sure some people start in the morning, but for tailgating time, just a chance of a shower. And the latest models say maybe not any more rain until after the game is over. So keep your fingers crossed if you're heading down to Paycor Stadium. Then Sunday, scattered showers, mostly cloudy Monday. Tuesday, scattered showers. Tuesday and Wednesday at night, those scattered showers could be a few flakes of snow mixed in. Well, here is beyond the 7-day forecast. So we're starting out now on the 2nd of January. That's Thursday. It looks like dry weather with highs in the 30s, lows in the 20s. Saturday the 4th, 26 and 35. That would tell me probably snow, maybe wet snow, depending upon the time of the day. Sunday the 5th looks dry, and then the 6th, 7th, and 8th. And again, not on this graph, the 9th and the 10th. We do have the chance of getting snow. Okay, that would, and again, that's just a chance. Now, those storms may not develop. Those storms, when they head further south or further north, if they head further south, it could be more snow. If it's further north, it could be more rain. But right now, the way extended forecast is working, since we can't give you the details like we can on a daily forecast, is that just be aware that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday could bring about some snow or some rain, and that's the 6th, 7th, and 8th, continuing on into the 9th and the 10th. And then the summary of the next 14 days, for those of you that need temperature information here, is this. High temperatures peak at 61 and drop, well, almost 30 degrees to, well, they do drop to 30 degrees, drop 30 degrees to 31 and stay below normal for the last half of this forecast period. Same thing with low temperatures. And your takeaway on this, again, there's a lot of information in these long-term forecasts, but the cooling really starts on New Year's Eve. Wet snow and rain mix into the morning of the 1st. Numerous light rain events through the 31st. Christmas and New Year's travel still looks good, okay? And snow events are possible the 3rd through the 10th. All right. I will go ahead and take a quick look here and see if anybody else has said anything. Oh, yeah, we got a few more comments here on Facebook. Drew Meister says, I love it. No snowing. There's a no snow person for Christmas. And Drew Meister also says, come on, summer. Okay. And that is all there is for now. So I can put myself back on camera. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope the rest of your Christmas holiday is good. I hope everything goes well for you as we head into the new year. And I'll be back tomorrow at 7:15 live again from the Fox 19 Now Streaming Center. Again, Merry Christmas.